Hello and welcome back to the Mojave, everybody. Welcome back to New Vegas, where today I'm going to be showing you where to get 6 unique weapons right at the very start of New Vegas. So for this, we're going to be starting out a brand new build. After you've picked what your character's going to look like, be sure to go over to the Vigor machine, pick whatever special stats you'd like. This is going to depend on what build you're going for, but we're just going to pick that. After we've set our special stats, talk to Doc and you'll be able to pick whatever stats you would like. For this, I would highly recommend that we pick lockpicking, repair, and science. These three are going to be really important for finding some of the weapons. Now, this is going to heavily depend on which weapons you want to go for, but this is going to kind of cover all of them, and the repair is going to help us in the early game get something a little bit useful. Next up, you can pick 2 traits, and for this, just to make this a little bit easier on myself, I'm going to be picking Skilled, which is probably one of the best traits in the game. It has very little downside for +5 to all of our skills, which is really, really good. And I'm also going to be taking Good Natured. This is just so that I can build up skills a little bit quicker, which we may end up needing here in a little bit. What I recommend next, once you can leave Doc's house, is actually to come right over here. If you tagged Repair or if you have High Intelligence, you can fix up this broken 9mm submachine gun. This will be really useful. This is not one of the weapons that we're going to be talking about that's a unique weapon, but it will help us get one of our unique weapons and kind of just help us in the early game in general. Once we're done with the general store, I'd recommend that we head right down over to here. This is to actually pick up a shovel. So leaving town and heading right over here, you can also do this for part of the tutorial when you talk to Sunny. That will be hunting down geckos here. You're going to find the Good Springs watering source. And there will be potentially geckos here, at least the first time you go here, if it is with Sunny. If you go here before that, you don't have to worry about those things, so that's kind of nice. And if you go here after this, they may have respawned. About every 3 days, I believe they'll respawn. So go right down here, and there is a shovel right here. Now we're going to be taking this. For our very first unique weapon, once you fast travel back to Good Springs, it can be located pretty much right over here. So heading just out of town where there's this keep out sign, this is the more dangerous way to try to go to New Vegas. And we're not actually trying to go to New Vegas. We're mostly just trying to climb up these walls here. So if you played Skyrim, you're probably going to be pretty familiar with this. And usually there's not this many Cazadors here, but it does seem like they're here for us. So if we can get Victor over here to potentially fight for us, that'd be fantastic. You can also use the submachine gun that you picked up here. Appears Victor's kind of stuck at the moment, so we're just gonna finish these ones off for him. There we go. Good job, Victor. Now you can loot these. You can potentially get some more Cazador venom glands, and you can sell those for extra money. Once these are dead, though, we can save. If there isn't very many of these, though, you don't necessarily have to do that trick of just climbing up along the wall. You may need to go a little bit further into camp, where there can be even more Cazadors, so hopefully these ones leave us alone. Ow. Alright. Once you get up over here, then we can drop down to this grave here, which I am dying from that venom pretty quick. And at this grave you can find Chance's grave, which has Chance's knife as well as some great con simple armor. The armor's not really that good, but the knife is incredibly good. This is one of the best melee weapons in the entire game. It weighs very, very little. It attacks really fast. It does a lot of damage. It's one of the best holdout weapons as well. And it is also affected by multiple perks, including Cowboy and Grunt, where you can get even more damage. Once again, you can just kind of Skyrim your way up over the hills, and then you can head right back to town. And we have one of the best melee weapons in the game right here. Once you've arrived in Prim, you'll see the Lucky Casino, the Steve Bison Hotel, and you'll probably have to deal with some powder gangers over here, but Chance's knife should make pretty quick work of them. Once that's done, then go inside of the casino, and for this next weapon, you're going to need to have 75 lockpicking. You can alleviate this if you have magazines, which will give you +10 lockpicking, or if you have the comprehension perk, then that will give you +20 lockpicking, or +20 to any skill from the magazine. Once again, you can just kill the convicts or anybody else that's trying to attack you here. Shouldn't be too big of a deal. Again, Chance's knife should make pretty quick work of this. And then right over here at this floor safe, you'll find this book, as well as you can then lockpick this. Again, if you have the 75 lockpicking, if you don't, then this is going to be a little bit more difficult. So just take your time, look around here, make sure not to force the lock, and inside here, you should get Lucky. Lucky is a pretty powerful revolver too, especially for the start, as this thing has better stats than something like the standard 357 revolver, as well as it has a much higher crit chance and quite a bit faster reload. As you can see, my reload is not super quick, That's because my agility is being kind of affected by a couple of things at the moment. But the reload is still fairly good. The reload speed is also quite good. And you can get a lot of ammo for this early on, as 357 rounds are not very difficult to find. And you can also buy the bulk 38 special rounds, which go to this as well. This is one of my absolute favorite handguns in New Vegas, even though there are some other revolvers that are a bit stronger than this. I mean, this one just looks so good, and it feels so good to be using. For the next gun that we're going to be getting, we have to go all the way over here to Novak. For this, we can go around like you normally do. There is another way that you can go across here, but it's a bit more dangerous, as there is usually a Deathclaw there. Once we are here in Novak, and you can see the dinosaur here, we're going to be getting that gun. So in order to get that gun, you have to go through the gate here, and you have to go into the dinosaur itself, because where else would it be? Now, to get this one, you can either buy it, or you can just steal it, and we're going to be stealing it because all of these weapons are going to be free, and we don't actually need to really fight anybody to get any of them. So we have to get through this door, which is a very easy locked door, but Cliff is here. You can just wait him out, so if you wait until nighttime, he should usually be going. Alright, he seems to be going home now. If you got here already late at night, this should already be open. And then you can just pick this lock, which, since it's a very easy lock, it should be really easy. And then we also got that gun right here, which you're going to need to steal if you're doing it this way. And we have this, which is based off of the Blade Runner pistol. Which, funny enough, this is not the first time that this gun has actually showed up in Fallout, because it was in the very original Fallout, and it was in Fallout 2 as well. Once we have that gun, we're going to be going right up over here. This is to Helios 1. This is not actually where we're going to be getting a unique weapon, but there is a unique weapon nearby. The NCR will probably not let you in unless you've already done other quests beforehand where you're kind of in good with them, and honestly, we don't really need to get into there right now. We're actually going to be heading off over to this side where there's a cave located right over there. With our new 5.56 pistol, or that gun, we should be able to clear up anything that's in the way. Generally, there's only rat scorpions over here, although there can be mutants in the cave that we're going to be going. And sometimes they can be armed with pretty strong weapons. It depends on what level you are by the time that you get here. To get to this cave, this is going to be called Black Rock Cave. Again, it's just off to the side of Helios 1. And you can head in here, and I'm getting a lot of frame drops for some reason. So upon entering this cave, there will be 2 Nightkin in here. You can actually just run right past them if you would like. You don't need to fight them, although if one of them has a minigun like this, it may prove to be difficult, especially if it's a master. So, oh, there's actually more here than I thought. Anyway, on this body you can find the Prospector, and you can get this Paladin Toaster. Once you've acquired the Paladin Toaster, you should have one of the best unarmed weapons in the game too. This one can still get outcompeted by some other ones, but as you can see, it can kill certain enemies quite quickly, and I'm not spec'd into unarmed at all. The next weapon that we're going to be getting is the Q35 Matter Modulator, and you can run up around here like I have, and that would be the more safe way to go. I'm going to show you the more dangerous and more direct way to go, though, which start out over here at the Good Spring Source. From the Good Spring Source, we're going to follow this road up here until we reach a town called Sloan. Upon going up the road and reaching Sloan, you will then run into Chomps over here.
Hold up. There.
Who usually has a beard, and mine, again, beards are kind of gone, they're outlawed. There is also 2 books in here that you can go over there and grab. One of them is an explosives book, one of them is a repair book, which can be pretty good. Or maybe it's actually just a repair book in there. Either way, you can take that, and you can also steal a sawed-off shotgun in there if you would like. And going up ahead here, we are greeted with a bunch of death claws, at least if you end up going into the quarry. We're not going to be doing that. We're going to be hugging this side of the wall, and just try not to get the Deathclaws angry. As you can see, they're kind of rendering in over there. If you climb up over here, it's a little bit easier. There can also be bark scorpions over here, but those are far less scary than something like Deathclaws. Once we get close enough to Neil's shack as well, he'll run out and try to greet us, so he could be around here at any point. There's Neil's shack right there. And over there is Black Mountain, where there is a bunch of super mutants. And they can be pretty tough. We don't really want to go there right now. We don't really want to be fighting them, although this is a pretty good place to farm if you're looking for weapons to sell.
This is a dangerous place.
Neil will have different weapons depending on when you come here as well. We're just going to tell him goodbye, and then we're going to be heading up over this direction. So, once again, there are various super mutants. We're going to be trying to stick over to here so that we don't aggro them, and so that we're not going to be aggroing like the Deathclaws over there, because if either of these things decides to try to kill us, they can do it fairly quick, especially since I'm playing on the very hardcore right now. So try to get past them, try to keep your distance. they probably won't try to attack you, and then we can drop down right through here, and we're going to be going through this little mountain pass on this side. There's also a dead guy over here, which you can kind of see. Once we get closer to him, you can actually grab a 357 off of his body. This one is just a standard one, but you could use it to fix up Lucky, which is pretty good, at least if you've grabbed Lucky up to this point. If not, you're going this direction right away. You don't have to worry about that. But, yeah, you can just snag some of this stuff off of him. And then we're going to be heading up this hill. Be careful to watch out for bear traps. You can actually just go in between them. And then the rocks are coming down. And you're going to want to try to avoid this rock, because I don't know if it can actually kill you, but I think it can hurt you pretty badly. So if you're at low HP, it might kill you. Once we're through that, we're just going to be heading on over here. And this is pretty much the shortcut to Vegas, to where you don't have to fight any of the Deathclaws. You don't have to fight any of the super mutants. And it also should drop you out at the NCR's little base around here. Yes, right over here. So once you get in good with the NCR, assuming that you're going to be with them, then you can just fast travel right to there and grab the stuff inside. There's some pretty good things in there. There's like a hunting shotgun, I think there's a trail carbine, and a hunting revolver. So pretty strong stuff at any point in the game. And once again, we're going to be avoiding that direction because Deathclaws are over there. We're just going to be hugging these walls. And right over here at this building is where we can get a unique weapon, which is called the Q35 Matter Modulator. And for this, it is a little bit easier if you have either high science or high lockpicking to get through this building, but you don't need to do that. I'm going to be showing you the way that you can get through it normally. You don't actually need those skills, but if you do have them, know that you can get through this building a little bit quicker than you otherwise would. So once we're inside the Repcon headquarters, you could usually find a bunch of dead fiends over here, and they might actually have some decent weapons. They can have like lever action shotguns. Laser RCWs are pretty good. So you can actually just pick up a couple of weapons right here if you need some more guns. You can also go over here and talk to this robot, the tour guide, and be sure to ask it for a tour of the museum. Once you've gotten to this point in the tour, this robot will open up this door, which is normally locked with an average lock, and you can actually go right over to this room, head up over here, and then you can grab this security key card. This will allow you to get into the back rooms, and then once you get back to the main floor where we've seen all those dead fiends, you can then go right over to here and use the key on this door. You can also then potentially pick into this lock, which is really good because there's a lot of ammo in here. So in here, you can see there is a lot of various microfusion cells. You don't actually need to get into this room, but it does make it so this early part is even better. As well as there's a plasma rifle in here, which will be useful when our other plasma rifle eventually gets damaged. We can fix it up. The plasma rifle in question... Anyway, the plasma rifle in question is in here, which is locked by a very hard lock either way. So if you have 100 science or 100 lockpicking, you can get into there. You don't need to do that, though. You can head right up to the second floor, and up these stairs at the end of the hallway, we can then head up to the third floor, and then we're going to need to find another room to where we can drop actually back down into that area. There is also like the Brotherhood stuff here, so you could potentially grab things like a laser rifle. You could potentially grab more ammo here. Over here next to the Brotherhood characters, if you don't have enough lockpicking, you can open up this one and get this key, as well as you can get 200 pre-war money, which is really, really good. I keep hitting escape by accident. And then we're going to be heading out over here, so we can get a bunch of money. Then you should be able to open up this second floor room, no problem. Upon coming down here and going back to the second floor, be sure to head over to here, where we go to the main office building. And this will have this big old collapsed hole in the floor. You can drop down here, and then the Q35 is right here on the ground. This is one of the best energy weapons, just period, in the game. It is shockingly good, especially with how early on you can get this, as well as you can also get a Nikola Tesla in you, and you can collect all of these other energy cells and anything else that you want inside of that safe as well. Q35 is at full durability, and with all of the microfusion cells we found here, we have about 550 rounds. You can just leave right through this door, and you can be heading right out. Oh, well. Let's make sure we get rid of him real quick. Now, this thing only holds 12 rounds, where that isn't as much as regular plasma guns, but this one only takes 1 ammunition every time that you shoot it. It also has some of the best VAT stats in the game, more so if you want to be going with the VATS-related perks, like Plasma Spaz does work for this one, so that can reduce it. Mathrath is also another very good one. You can, of course, just, test out your aim out here against the robots, too. Should work just fine on them. Should work pretty well on just about everything. This thing also has very low strength requirements too. I think it's 2 or 3. Let me check here. quick second after this guy's done melting. Yeah, this only requires 2 strength and 25 energy weapons to wield effectively, meaning that basically anybody, even at the very start of the game, even if you're not specializing in energy weapons, is going to be able to use this effectively as early as like level 1, sometimes level 2 or 3 if you need to throw some points into energy weapons. The very last weapon we're going to be going for in this run is one of my personal favorites. It might be my favorite weapon in this game, and that is called this machine. So in order to get that, we're going to need to go over to here, and it is right over to there where Camp McCarran is. You're going to have to walk up next to this and then walk along the side of it, heading to the left. Heading over here to Camp McCarran, we will actually find this place. And this place is rather large. This is pretty much the main operating base of the NCR. Once we're in here, we're going to have to go over here to the actual tram station, which, funny enough, you can actually take the tram station right to Vegas if you know what you're doing, and you don't have to pass the credit check or anything. Then from this terminal building, depending on where you came in at, it doesn't really matter. We're going to be heading upstairs. You can also head out through the back, at least if you know where you're going. I find that way to be a little bit more confusing. I think it's easier to head up here and then go over to the concourse, and we're going to be heading through the back over here. Once you get into this part where you've got the slot machines here, there's also kind of a side quest or a couple side quests that you can do for the guy over there, where they're just kind of unmarked quests. We're going to be heading down this way. This is just off to the left-hand side as we go down. And then we're going to be heading right here to the back room. Once in here, we're going to meet this guy named Contreras, who is not really the best guy here, but he does sell a whole lot of bullets, and we're going to buy a bunch of these 308 rounds because they're going to be very useful for the weapon that we're going to be buying. It should also be noted that once we do this, at least the way that I'm going to be doing it, then we can't use Contreras anymore as an actual vendor. If you want to do his quest, you can. You have to be a certain level. You have to be like level 12 in order to start it. If you're not that level, then turning him in is a lot quicker and it's a lot easier. Head up here and then go to his, his computer. Once he's gone, or if you have a stealth boy, you can use that to where he won't be detecting you. Once he's leaving, then be sure to hack his computer. You will need 50 science in order to do this, or you're going to need to have a magazine to get you up to 50 science. Mentats also help. So try to find the correct, try to find the correct password. Mine was the very first one there. You can also just potentially pick 3 answers, and then if you don't want to go through the whole thing, you can potentially just click out by pushing this power button here. It'll take you out, and then you can load back up the computer, and you get another 3 chances before you can go. So you can just pick the first 3, stop, restart, do it again, stop, restart, do it again until you actually get to here. Download the weapon manifest, which will tell you all that. You will lose a little bit of karma here, but it doesn't really matter. And then we're going to be heading back into this area through the concourse once again, and we're going to be heading back to the main area of this building. So again, just back the way that you came, and you will be arriving up here on the upstairs floor, which is pretty important. Then we're going to be heading out over to, I believe it's this left-hand side. Yes, it is. This is where there is the interrogation that's kind of going on, which you can also be a part of and get some extra NCR credit as well as some extra money here. You can go into here and you can talk to the lieutenant here and then tell her that Contreras is involved in some criminal activity. You can give her the numbers there. This will put him in jail and you will get this machine as a reward. This is an unmarked quest, so a lot of people aren't aware of this, but this is the unique battle rifle, actually before the battle rifle was even introduced into the game. This machine is incredibly strong. It uses the 308 round, meaning that you have a lot of opportunity for different ammunitions you can load into this. It reloads the entire magazine very quickly, or I guess the clip in this case, because that would be appropriate to call it that. This is one of my absolute favorite weapons. It does require, I think, 75 guns in order for you to use it effectively and 6 strength, so it is one of the higher requirement weapons that we've talked about here, but still, it is a fantastic weapon. It doesn't quite have as clean iron sights as the ones you're seeing in-game, because this is a remodel of it, but still, it is one of the best weapons. It has incredibly high durability, one of the highest out of any of the rifles in the game. And that'll do it for the 6 unique weapons that you can get early on. There is still quite a few other unique weapons that you could get, but these are some of the absolute strongest that you can rush in New Vegas. And as you can see, this isn't going to take you very long for any one of these. Hopefully this helped you out. Tell me if you'd like to see more videos like this, especially for the other Fallout games. You guys take care and have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye!